Hey folks, it's me. I'm back for another video, this time a review of the A-Case miniature painting handle, which Olo over at A-Case was kind enough to send over for me. So, haven't paid for this one, but I wanted to give you my thoughts on it nonetheless. This is a modular painting handle. You can swap bits and pieces. As with all A-Case products, it is magnetized, so all of the pieces are just easy interchangeable. You can swap out what you want and how you want it all set up. I've been using it for a little while now, and I am absolutely loving it. So if you are painting a model on a smaller base and you don't want this wide lip getting in your way, you can just switch down to a smaller size piece and you've got your base there. If you've got a larger model like this bad boy, you can just pop him on the larger flange base. If the handle's suddenly too big, you can just swap it down to this size and there you go. Really holds the models nicely. I do still use poster tack when I'm working on these models, and the reason for that is, although let me show you with this one, although the models are magnetized and you know they're not coming off, they do tend to drift around the top piece a little bit. So I do get a little bit of poster tack and just lightly tack it. I mean, you're not trying to support the weight of the model with this poster tack. It's not like, you know, it's just a flat surface. The magnet takes all of the weight of the model, so you don't have to worry about that. It's really just to stop the model shifting as you're working on it. So that's how I tend to work it. I quite like a shorter, stubbier handle just for my hand size. I think it works quite well. And then I can, you know, rotate as I wish. But if you like a slightly larger handle, you can put a couple of things in as spaces to grow it out and work with a slightly larger piece. I should also say that, you know, although I do poster tack this as well, I actually do that even with the Games Workshop handles. I find that the springs that hold these can be a little weak, so I will tend to just put a little poster tack in just to make sure that everything is held firm. So this is no different in that regard. Originally, I was trying to use everything on this wider flanged base, and that didn't work great for me. If you've got a smaller model there, this flange does tend to get in the way, but you don't need to use it. Any of these pieces will work just fine. So, you know, that's why there's this modularity in it. It really does work very, very well. So that is my review. This product is about $33 US shipped, I think. It's maybe not as cheap as some, like the Citadel handle, but it does give you a huge variety of options. It's a very comfortable size. It is 3D filament printed. You can see the layer lines there. But very, very, very high quality printing, no layer separation or anything like that. It's got obviously all of the magnets inserted, so everything is fully magnetized. Even the bottom side is magnetized. So if you've got a magnetic surface you just want to attach it to, it's held in place, which I really like. I will often have another of the A-Case products. It's actually just here on my desk as usual. The A-Case magnetic token box. I'll often have this on my desk, and if I'm going, you know, away from my desk for a few minutes, I will magnetize this to that so that it doesn't get knocked over whilst I'm away. It really, really holds it nice and secure. So yeah, a really nicely designed product. It is not the cheapest, but if you want something that gives you a lot of modularity, it will support up to, you know, easily. I mean, this is a 50mm base, right? And there's still room to spare, so you could go up even further in size than that. lots of options here. Really, really do recommend this product. So go and check it out. It's available at the AK shop. I will have a link in the description below as usual. And throw in the comments what you think of it. Olo was kind enough to send me a few neodymium magnets, as well as a rather nice little pot of branded super glue. I have a few Warhammer Underworlds figures that I'm wanting to magnetize up. Some of the Slaaneshi boys here, the Head Knights. So I thought I would show you guys a little bit of a trick that I learned with getting superglue to activate whilst I was doing this. Now, there are products on the market for this, Zip Kicker, superglue accelerant, that will ensure that superglue dries super fast. In this particular case, I don't actually have any to hand, and so what I wanted to do was show you the effects of baking soda on superglue. It's something I use quite a lot for basing, actually. It gives a really good texture. If you're careful with it, you can get like an asphalt texture with it. If you're a little coarser with it, you can just get kind of a standard dirt texture. It makes a really good fine grit for those kinds of basing projects. But in this particular instance, I'm just going to be using it to accelerate the superglue drying process. So start off with a little dab of superglue where you want your magnet to go. Pop your magnet in place, and then just sprinkle the smallest amount, and this acts as a little bit of an accelerant. Now, if you're doing this on the surface of a model, just be wary that this will affect the texture of the superglue when it dries. Little bits of it are going to embed, and it's going to give a slightly rougher texture. You can sand that out if you want, or you can use it like I'm using it on areas where you're not really going to see that. But in a pinch, if you've not got a Zip Kicker or something on you, then this stuff works great. Then after a few seconds, you just tap it away. And there you've got a magnet held nicely in place that we can now pop into our case, and it will be held nice and securely. It's not going anywhere. So there you go. That is just a little trick for using super glue and getting it to dry that little bit quicker, so you're not holding it for ages. Hopefully that was a helpful trick. Hello folks. Back with a little last minute addition to this video. At the time of recording, I'd really been messing around with the magnetic holder, and that's cool, and you know, I think magnetizing bases is very useful, and I'll be reviewing some other products in the near future that kind of take advantage of that magnetizing as well. But when Olo sent me this package, he didn't just send me this kind of base. He actually sent me a bunch of other little bits and doodads and whatchamacallits. And I wanted to speak a little bit to those, and specifically to this piece here. A piece that I didn't think I was going to use, in all honesty, and one that, as you can tell from all the staining and stuff, in the last week I've used actually pretty extensively. I've been painting up some Conquest minis, and I've been wanting to do the bases separately, as I often do with models, and so I've actually gone to the effort of pinning them, which is not something I always do. Oftentimes I'll just, you know, super glue them onto a temporary base and then super glue them onto the final base without any pinning. But I wanted these to be a little bit more hard wearing, just because they're probably going to be going to different conventions and such. So I've been playing around with this base, and I actually really like it. I also wanted to talk about the different types of grips that you can have here. This is something that I think is actually super valuable. Not everybody has the same size hand or the same shape hand, and having a few different pieces that you can choose from is quite nice. So originally I kind of been doing with just the simple, slightly concave one that you can fit your thumb in. But as I've actually been spending more time using this tool, I've taken to really preferring this wide notch piece, or sometimes this concave notch piece, just for giving like a nice feel when turning a piece around. There's also, you know, just a very simple straight or a fluted straight. All of these just give you options. So, for instance, if you've got a slightly larger hand, you might want to use this as a spacer, perhaps, so that you can actually increase the length of the handle. For myself, I've got quite small hands. I quite like just having something like this, so that I've got something that I can grip and turn, and then you know, I've not got a lot of material to hold as I'm working. The fact that there is also a magnet on the bottom side of the handle is actually quite nice as well, especially if you have something like the token box. You can just leave it here and it's not going to go anywhere. It's really stable. But I thought whilst I was talking about this cork piece, I would show you how I go about pinning pieces. So I've got a couple of models here. I'm going to work on this little Conquest Huntsman right here. I've got a pin vise. I've got some paper clip. So I thought whilst I was talking about the cork topper for this paint handle, I'd go ahead and show you how I mount pieces onto this by pinning them and my general pinning process. And for this, I have a few things. I have a paper clip. You can see I've already used this paper clip for a pinning project. I generally just, you know, will work on a single paper clip at a time, and I'll just keep clipping it and straightening it out and clipping it and straightening it out as I work down. I have a pin vise, which is a small handheld drill. I have some clippers. These are not nice clippers. I'm going to try and show this clearly. If you look, you can see these little marks on the inside of the cutting faces. You can probably see them a little bit clearer here. Right, these are from where I've been clipping paper clips. Paper clips are quite hard, and they do deform such thin, sharp pieces of material. So I always have like a kind of rough cut clippers that I use for this. If you've got god hands or really nice clippers of any description, you are going to ruin them by trying to clip paper clips with them. So I use you know, pretty rough ones. These are GW ones from way back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start straightening this out. It does not need to be perfectly straight. It just needs to kind of be mostly there. So, you know, that kink there is not going to be a problem. This is going to be straight enough. Now, I'm not actually going to clip it just yet. I'm going to drill the holes in my pieces first. The reason for this, it matters less with this model because of the straight legs. So I'm going to be able to drill a long way in. But oftentimes, you are going to have a limit to how far into the piece you can drill. For those of you that are familiar with drilling gun barrels, it's exactly the same process, but you want to drill further into the model. You want to pick a nice wide piece that you're not going to damage by drilling into it. And you want to go into the model a decent distance. This is a process that we use for strengthening models. By having that pin in there, there's not just one direction of interface. You've got the pin providing some additional rigidity in there. So as you can see, this is drilled a decent way in now. We're going to cut it a little longer. I find that if I'm cutting it whilst it's in the model, it's a lot less likely to ping across the room and get lost, because it kind of just stays there. I've left a few millimeters there to hold it, and we're going to do the same thing with the other foot. Sometimes I'll just do one foot. A lot of more dynamically posed models will only have really one foot contacting the ground, so you have no choice. But again, it's a little bit more stable and a little more secure if you do one in each foot, or even more if you can. If maybe you've got a four-legged horse or a larger creature that has multiple points of contact with the base. 3 generally is the magic number for this kind of thing, but do just kind of as much as you can really manage given the piece that you have. So just check again, good distance into the foot of the model, and then just make sure that you've pushed that in and clip, and there we go. We've got our model pinned, and without even gluing it, we can just insert that in, and that's held fairly well. And the reason for that is because these are actually at an outward angle, so it provides some bracing. But really, we probably want to have a slightly better fit, so really we want a more secure hold here. So just like with the magnets, we're going to want to use super glue. Plastic glue will only work for a plastic to plastic bond face, because it's not really a glue, it's a weld. It dissolves the plastic on either side, and so it will only hold if both pieces are the same, basically, of a material that dissolves and can bond together. I have got those the wrong way around, I suspect. Yes, I have. Some people like to color code these so that they don't make that kind of mistake. This is only 2 pieces, so it shouldn't be too bad. All right. And there we go. Again, you could use baking soda if you wanted for getting this to hold. There's not a huge surface area here, so I don't think it's really necessary. And just pop that in, and as you can see, it's a really secure fit. It's not going anywhere, and this is a really great way of painting models if you're going to paint them up off of the bases. So hopefully this is a helpful trick for you, and if it is, let me know. If it isn't, let me know. If you have modifications or variations on this, let me know in the comments below. All right, thanks everybody.